Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sarah of Horror. And on my channel, I review movies and TV shows and other things I find interesting. If that's your thing, hit the subscribe button. But today, I am finally going to talk about two movies that I wanted to talk about for a long time. And I finally saw the third one this week. I'm of course talking about a film that's been called probably the sickest film of the year, the goriest film of the year, the movie that makes people vomit and walk out of the cinema and pass out, and other typical things that people are saying to hype up a film. And I'm of course talking about Terrifier 3. I have reviewed Terrifier 1 on my channel before, so that is why I'm not reviewing it again in this episode, but I will be reviewing Terrifier 2 and 3. Well, let's start with the second one first. Terrifier 2. It's directed by Damien Leone. It's from 2022. It's starring Lauren Lavera, David Howard Thornton, Elliot Fulham, Sarah Voigt, Kaylee Hyman, and Casey Hartnett. This one we have, of course, Art the Clown is back. Some of you might be wondering, like, but how? So if you haven't seen the first film, there will be a few spoilers, because otherwise I can't really do this review. The same with the third one. There will be like minor spoilers if you haven't seen the second one. But if you have seen the first one and second one, go ahead, watch this. The way the first film ended, I was like, okay, so, how can he be back? How is Art back? But in this one, there is a spiritual awakening in Art. So he gets resurrected and then goes to the town of Miles County and kind of goes after this girl, Sienna, and her younger brother, Jonathan, on Halloween night. Once again, Terrifier 2 plays out on Halloween, and I love that. I think it's very cozy. And I remember going to the cinema in 2022. I think it was December 2022. I live in Sweden, and some films come here like a week or 2 weeks later, unfortunately. But I was super excited, and yeah, I was just expecting a lot of gore, a lot of nastiness. Because what I liked about the first one, I liked that it was a low budget film, like very low budget. It made the film look and feel a bit more dirty and raw, so to speak. A lot of low budget horror movies tend to have that look and feel to them, and I do appreciate it, because then everything that happens, all the kills, all the gore, just hits home more. But of course, in this one, the budget was, much higher, $250,000. And I'm super happy for that. I'm happy that it raised so much money. And I'm super happy that the film grossed around 16 million. Around. It was 15.7 or something, but let's just say $16 million. And I am just so proud. And, even if I have nothing to do with the film, of course, I'm just super proud. But yes, so Halloween, and you can do so much, like with a Halloween theme. You can so much cozy things. The characters can wear, really cool outfits. And we have this girl, Sienna. She's preparing to go out on Halloween night with her friends, to party, to have, to dress up and be this cool character. Phew, woof. And I have to say, right away, the movie starts off, with a bang. The gore is there right away. It kind of continues on from the first film. And yeah, I mean, we get to know Art the Clown pretty well in this one. Even without his clothes in this one. And yeah, that was a bit unexpected. But why not? Also get to know Art. Was that you? Okay, that is actually Terrifying 1 right here. And the one that fell down on its own because of ghosts and Art, that's Terrifier 2. I will show them more. Spooky. But yeah, we get to know Art the Clown much more in this one, as I said. And also we get to know another character, which I really love that they introduced. It's a girl. I will not say like I don't want to spoil so much about her, but she has a very specific part in this one, which kind of allows us to understand Art the Clown's psyche and mental state a bit more. I guess. I think this makes the story even better. And I mean, the story is pretty simple as it was in the first one. And I mean, I can't complain that, you know, the story is not that intricate, or that there aren't like hundreds of layers and hundreds of twists and stuff, because that's not really what these movies are about. But if you're kind of expecting that, then I mean, I understand you could be disappointed, but that is not what I'm expecting when I'm watching a Terrifier film. I go there for the gore, for the nastiness, for the laughs, for Art the Clown, for just see Art the Clown in these, what I call them, art set pieces. So we have like a scene or a scenery, a whole scene with art. He does something, kill people, and then move on to the next one. So I'm just watching these creative art set pieces. That is what I'm looking for. And of course, really good music. And I love the Terrifier theme, or theme song, of course. And whenever I hear that, I'm like, yeah, now it's time. It's time. Love that. But I also love how this movie looked. This movie doesn't look as dirty or raw as the first one. Of course, the budget is higher and the quality is better. But it also kind of takes away from the rawness of the film, from the kind of rawness of the gore. Every kill scene, gore scene, death scene is much more polished and clean, has a more clean look to it. So it honestly just feels very kind of over the top, in a good way. I love over the top gore, but it kind of puts more of the dark humor in the film. So this film is filled with much more humor than in the first one, and I think that really works. And Art the Clown is just super quirky in this one. Especially there's a scene where Sienna, she goes to a Halloween store to buy like these wings, and Art the Clown is there. And he just puts on like silly glasses and makes these silly faces to her, and it's just like funny in a really dark way. So I do love those kind of details with Art the Clown. So that is like always what I'm expecting when I see a Terrifier film. Of course, we have to talk about the gore. I mean, the gore, yeah, there are a lot of gory scenes. And I also watched the like behind the scenes stuff that's on my Terrifier 2 Blu-ray. And it's just kind of amazing and fun to see how they created the SFX. Because sometimes you can look at behind the scenes things. You know, even myself as a indie horror filmmaker, I made some gory scenes in my days. And then, you know, behind the scenes when you film it, you kind of don't really know, and you're hoping that it will look good on camera when you have edited it, finished it. But sometimes I've been like, no way is this going to be good. I mean, I don't know. And then when you put it together, it kind of looks like how you imagined it, how you wanted it to be. So I am really super impressed with how everything just kind of turned out in this film, with the creative kills and the gore. And I had heard some pretty like nasty things about this film. They're like, oh, there's like one scene, it's so horrible, it's like, oh, I'm puking when I'm thinking about it. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm so excited now. So when I was watching it, people like, you will definitely know which scene that is. I'm like, okay. And then we got to that special, we call it bedroom scene, not gonna spoil it, but just bedroom scene. And I was like, wow, okay, this is super good. And yeah, it is gory, and I loved it. And I was like, wow, okay. But you know, I wasn't puking or being like, this is too much. But so I was super impressed by that one, because it just shows a level of creativity and just a level of the practical SFX making and also like the acting. It was just so good, and also like the small details, like when Art the Clown comes back with like salt and bleach, I think it was, with bleach and salt, and just pours it all over the victim, and yeah, it's just like little silly stuff like that. But then I have to say also, I think Sienna is a really amazing final girl. I kind of like how fragile she is. She isn't this like, oh, I'm so tough, and she is kind of struggling and dealing with things. That really made me sympathize with her and empathize with her a lot. So that was a good like build up of her character throughout the film, because the film is quite long, and I know people have been complaining that it's a bit too long. I can understand that, because usually I don't think like horror movies should be that long usually, but for Terrifier films, I was actually wanting it to be even longer. I was like ready to watch more art. When the film finished, I was like, no, can I just watch some more art scenes, please? So honestly, I have no problem with Terrifier 2 being 2 hours, 18 minutes or something like that. I'm going to check the back later. But yeah, so no problem with the length for me at least. Then, it builds up Sienna's character pretty well, the whole family very well, and of course gives us a lot of time for a lot of gore. But it also makes the kind of end climax fighting scenes really good. To me, they don't seem drawn out. I think they were quite necessary. It doesn't feel like the film is over way too soon, or that the climax is over way too soon. I mean, sometimes that can be the case. The like ends fighting climax scene is just over like that, and it's done. But this, it goes on for a while, and I think that that's a good thing actually. I also like the kind of cozy music, like when we're first introduced to Sienna's character. There's kind of like an 80s sort of cozy vibe to the whole introduction to her character. Also the kind of camera work and lighting and colors in that scene, very good as well. Of course, we have a lot of like dark jokes in this film. Like one character, the shirt that that person is wearing has a text on it that reads "just a tip," and that is quite funny later. So I do appreciate details like that, for sure. And of course, David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown, amazing again. I have to admit, art is the strongest thing about the Terrifier films, of course, and just the body language, facial expressions, just everything is so good. And yeah, I mean, art is iconic. But yeah, I am a huge Art the Clown fan, and I will not deny that. And I'm just super happy that this movie grossed so much money, and that the crowdfunding campaign went so good, and it kind of took indie horror films to new levels, like literally. I am just super happy that Terrifier films have showed what indie horror movies can do. I mean, we have all known that indie horror movies are awesome, but now the entire world knows as well, and I'm super happy. Oh, what will I give Terrifier 2? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Yeah, so a 10 out of 10 for Terrifier 2. It's, the lighting just came on again. But yeah, I really love Terrifier 2. I think I love the first one as well, but I think Terrifier 2 is just a little bit better than Terrifier 1. But yeah, let's move on and see what I thought about, the new one, Terrifier 3. Okay, so I went to a screening of Terrifier 3 that was organized by the Swedish horror website or streaming site, Splatter. So splatter.se, check it out. If you love horror movies, definitely should get a subscription there. So I was super excited. That was on Wednesday, and yeah, here are some pictures. I went with David, Andres, Yuke, and Martin, and we all had a really fantastic and great time. We even got these barf bags, which was a nice touch. I didn't get one for Terrifier 2, so I was happy that I got one for Terrifier 3. Not that I had to use it though. I just wanted it as a, you know, little souvenir and stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep it, and I don't know where. I was expecting like so much nastiness and so much gore. You know, people once again had hyped up this movie to be in a certain way, and now we have definitely people puking and this, walking out and passing out, and I was like, okay, but yeah, I was super happy, and then the film started. Terrifier 3. It's directed by Damien Leone once again, and from, of course, 2024. It's starring Lauren Lavera, David Howard Thornton, Antonella Rose, Elliot Fulham, Samantha Scafidi, and Margaret Ann Florence, Bryce Johnson, Alexa Blair Robertson, Mason Merta. In this one, we have Art the Clown once again going to Miles County to attack the residents during Christmas Eve. Christmas movie! You know, we have left the Halloween theme, now we're going into the Christmas theme. You know, it's the season to be jolly. Art surely is jolly in this one. And so I kind of like that they switched the season and the theme. Now we have Christmas art. And I was excited to see what Damien would do with like the Christmas scenery and location and everything that you can do with a Christmas movie. Again, Sienna is back, and she's now living with Uncle Greg and his family, or it's her family as well, of course. But yeah, so this is some time after Terrifier 2, and yeah, there's a point in the film where it kind of cuts back and forth a little bit, so we kind of understand the timeline a little bit better. We get to kind of understand how Sienna is going through all of this, how she's coping, and she's just trying to live as normal life as she can. I mean, it's, yeah, what she went through was pretty traumatic, so yeah, it's kind of hard to just leave that behind. But you know, she's trying to move on. You know, art is making it really hard for her to move on. In this one, there was like a character in the second one that I thought would definitely be in this one, and then another character kind of pops up in this one, which we have seen in all three movies, but here in this film she kind of takes over for a bit. Her character gets much more screen time, and yeah, it's almost like Art's sidekick in a way. Art gets a lot of attention in this one, but not as much as I thought he would get. So this other character, she gets a lot of attention, especially towards the end. But for me, that was okay. I kind of liked that, but I would also like to see this other girl character was introduced in the second one more. Okay, let's get down to business. Let's talk about the gore. Of course, it starts off with a bang. Christmas night, Art visits a family that is trying to sleep and just get ready for Christmas, of course. Kills are creative, and it was kind of what I was expecting, and I like the whole Christmas themed. It was very cozy. And then of course we have some iconic kills in this one. There's like a shower scene that is probably my favorite scene in this entire film. The effects were just so good. I mean, especially like, I don't want to spoil it, but it involves a chainsaw and some very sensitive parts that chainsaw connects with, and yeah, it's just so good. So I mean, the goreness is goring for sure. And then we also have, you know, Art visits a bar, because we do know from all the posters and trailers that Art is walking around in a Santa suit. So of course we wonder, we're like, so where did he get the suit from? Because he probably did not buy it, right? Spoiler, he did not buy it. But that bar scene, actually features Clint Howard, so that was fun. I was like, wait, that's Clint Howard. You can also tell that this movie's budget is even better than Terrifier 2. I read that it was $2 million. And it's grossed, let me check, so I'm not lying. Currently $51 million, something like that. Wow. That's crazy, but I'm super happy. Like, Art the Clown is ranking in like $51 million on a $2 million budget. Whew. I mean, I think they all deserve it. Everyone involved in these movies deserve all the success and happiness and prosperity and money and whatever else comes with being involved in these movies. But yeah, so I said the bar scene was really good because Art kind of meets the Santa there. And that is also probably one of my favorite scenes in the film because that was also super creative and there was some like suspense. And I was like, oh, okay, how is this gonna look? And it was just, I was very pleased. I was very happy. Yeah. I am also happy that Damien Leone decided to kind of bring up the whole true crime podcast and YouTubers and bloggers who are dealing with that. Because I am happy that he kind of shows how insensitive a lot of people who talk about true crime can be. There are some fantastic podcasts and YouTubers who are really respectful, bring that up in a super good way, and it's just, it's, I wouldn't say fun to listen to, but it's done in such a good way that I want to listen to it more. And then there are YouTubers and podcasts who talk about true crime in a just plain awful, horrible way. So I am really happy that Damien Leone got like a character in this one who kind of represented that. Especially when she was kind of talking to Sienna and Sienna's brother. So I do appreciate those kind of conversations and made me kind of, reflect and be like, oh yeah, it was good to have that character in there. Character that when I saw him, Cole, I was like, he reminds me of someone. And then it hit me, like Owen Wilson. I was like, oh, he reminds me of Owen Wilson. And my friends were like, oh yeah, yes. Now that you say that. I just saw Owen Wilson like for the rest of the film. And I know a lot of people have been complaining about the story, the lack of story in like all three. But I'm like, do you come here to expect a story, like a complicated story in Terrifier 3? I mean, like, there is a story, but it's pretty simple and straightforward. And then, we get some more of the lore. We get some more explaining of the characters. Like, we get some flashbacks to when Sienna was little. So, I mean, I don't think Terrifier 3 needs any more than that. It has a straightforward story. The gore is really what it's about. And of course, Art is the centerpiece. And I don't think the movie needs anything more. And I can understand if that's not your thing, then that's not your thing. It's totally fine. It is totally fine. So if you don't like these movies, we're still friends. It's fine. But yeah, I can't really expect like a lot. Like, I can't really expect too much from these movies, and I love these films. So I manage my expectations. I can expect a lot from the gore from the film, and I know they will always deliver on the gore, so there is no problem there. And as long as I'm being entertained, Art is entertaining me, the kills are entertaining me, I love Sienna as the final girl, and yeah, then I don't really need much more. And also, I do like the music in this one, kind of sometimes was like a creepy Christmas songs music, and also the terrifying Christmas song. That's really good. So I do appreciate it, and I do appreciate the scenery, like, you know, with the snow, the winter, the Christmas decorations and everything. So yeah, I had a great time. So that is probably what you can expect from Terrifier 3. So what will I give Terrifier 3? I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, so a 9 out of 10 for Terrifier 3. Terrifier 2 is still my favorite, but I mean, I do love all of these films. Happy they exist. So if you haven't seen Terrifier 3 yet, then please do so. Okay, but let's really talk about the success of the Terrifier movies. Even if you're not a fan, and that's totally fine, then at least I hope you do appreciate what these movies has done for the indie horror movie business. And I am just super happy, as you know, an indie horror filmmaker myself. This has opened up a lot of doors for us, and even I see it with my small micro budgets like Bunnyman Horror and my projects now. A few more doors have been open, and people are more willing to invest in the indie horror industry, and I'm just super happy for that. Because I think more of our movies, I'm not specifically saying my movies, but our movies in the horror industry can definitely go in the footsteps of Terrifier movies. Be really successful. So I think just it's our time now. I think the Terrifier movie just really opened the door up for us, like in a really huge way. And there, you know, show that there is potential, there is money to be made, there is a lot of success to be made, and people do want to watch like good indie horror movies. They do, even super gory slasher ones. I mean, this has grossed in more money than Joker 2, and also Speak No Evil, the remake, which is just crazy because both of them are like mainstream Hollywood productions. So yeah, it just shows that if you have a great idea, which I mean, Art the Clown is definitely, he's such a just a good villain. Even if you don't like the films, at least you know Art, that was a creative good idea of a character, and it just shows that now is our time. So I just wanted to really say thank you to Damien Leone and everyone who has worked on the Terrifier films and just put in the work, and yeah, and made something amazing out of it, made something successful. So thank you so much, and let me know what you think about the Terrifier movies. Have you seen all three, or maybe just one or two or three, or you don't like them? That's fine as well. Oh, and I promised you, so this is my Blu-ray of Terrifier 1. It's a reversible cover. I like this cover. This back side, I have Terrifier 2. Yes. And of course, I will be adding Terrifier 3 to my collection when it's available. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to give this video a like, comment something for the algorithm, maybe a clown. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. New videos are out every Sunday. And yeah, hope you will have an amazing upcoming week. You know, it's Halloween, so happy pre-Halloween. Yes. Bye.